There are probably about two ways to look at your social media feedback cycle. The first one is that immediate real-time tracking of what your customers are saying about your products and services on their social media channels. The second way is more of a long-term analysis. You do a deeper look at what they're talking about online and social media channels. You might make significant improvements to your products and your services based on this social media feedback. In this lecture, we're going to take a look at what is social media feedback, how has it changed from traditional media feedback. We'll also examine three types, the power of it, and then I'm going to jump out and show you how two brands kind of are taking the feedback to a new level. So let's jump in with a quick reminder of the traditional media purchasing cycle. It starts with awareness, in which you want a person to buy your product. So you're building that awareness. Then it moves to the consideration phase, whether or not to buy or not to buy. And last but not least, we purchase it. It becomes this one-way conversation. Social media has changed that. It no longer ends with the purchase. We move from awareness to consideration to purchase, but then I use it. I form an opinion and I start talking about the product or the service on my own personal social media channels. I can create user-generated content in the form of feedback that a brand can monitor. This feedback could be pictures, this could be comments, this could be live video of me using the product if I'm using Facebook Live. But either way, it's changed what a brand can get out of feedback based on social media. It no longer ends with the purchasing. It's this two-way conversation that can happen. And it's really up to the brand to decide, what are they going to do with that feedback? How often are they going to listen? How are they going to respond? What channels are they going to monitor? What tools might they even use to help monitor all of this feedback that's coming in about their brand? So social media feedback has changed the power. Brands and organizations can listen and really make improvements based on what they're hearing. So another way, again, to look at this, there's awareness, consideration, and I purchased that product. Again, it doesn't stop there. I can make a video. I can make a blog post. I might even go into one of those forums and make comments. I might even tweet about it. Think about the last time you might have went to a restaurant and had great service. Or maybe you went to a restaurant and didn't have such great service. Did you tweet about it? Did you put it on Facebook? Maybe the last time you went to a restaurant and took a photo of the food because it looked so good. So again, all of this is social media feedback, and brands and organizations need to monitor this. It's a collection of people. It's not just one person talking. It's a collection of people. It's up to a brand to figure out what to do with all of that. I want to take a look at kind of three types. There's really a fourth type, and it really is kind of the catch-all type. If you want to read this full article, go ahead and check it out at digitalmarketing.com social listening. You can see the URL at the bottom of the PowerPoint. But I want to kind of give you some highlights from this article. There's lots of different types of social media feedback. Probably one of the most common is going to be the customer service loop. So we see this a lot. It is the most common. Someone raises a concern about the customer service that they received from a brand, an organization, or a restaurant, a fitness center, whatever the case may be. And they go out to social media and they either complain about it or they brag about it, depending on what the issue is. And how a brand responds and how a brand tracks that and how a brand uses that information is vital. A brand can take a look at the social media feedback cycle and make a better connection with their customers. They can make better connections and even improvements to products and services. Another type of feedback loop is content. This tends to be when there's a gap in content. So if you ever had an issue with something, you went out to try to do some research, you went out to find some documentation or a video about it, but it doesn't exist. Maybe you even went to the brand's website and you can't find any documentation to help you. It's a lack of content. It's a gap. So brands can, again, listen to this social media feedback type and make decisions and improvements, maybe even on their own website. Technical might be a little bit different, but kind of one and the same. You might have a technical issue with a product. So let's say you're using Microsoft Word and you keep getting an error message. You grab a screenshot of the error message, you tweet them, and you say, what is this error message and how do I fix it? It's a technical issue. That's just another form of social media feedback. And brands like to put these into categories, allowing them to decide how do they make changes and maybe even who should be responsible for making those changes. So let's take a look at the power of this in action. The first one on the left is managing your reputation. And so this is a gentleman who posted to H&R Block about being blackmailed from an employee that did their taxes for them. Obviously a huge red flag. If I'm looking for someone to do my taxes and I see this about H&R Block, I might steer clear of them having to do my taxes. But look at the response. H&R Block is managing their brand through quickly responding and letting this person know, hey, I sent you a personal message. We really need to talk offline. On the right, it's all about increasing retention and reducing refunds. And so a happy customer is a customer that's going to stick around. So this particular example is she is posting about receiving some amazing customer service from BarkBox. So again, that person became an ambassador. So the power of the loop, managing your reputation and gaining some folks to talk for you, if you will. Here's another example of that identifying product gap. In this example, they are looking for something about Windows Phone and Windows 10 Mobile and when is it ever going to come. And so again, there's some product gap information. On the right, this is more about content. And so again, H&R Block, how do they determine whether they're eligible for home tax deductions? And so again, this is a content gap. Somewhere out on H&R Block, this isn't out there. It's not readily available. This person couldn't find it. And so this could help H&R Block create some more content. The next one's very interesting. You have to listen, you have to respond. And on the left, this is about Comcast and it being a slow connection and why are they paying for this. So she put this out on social media and below the first response, the competitor, AT&T. So it's important as a brand that if you're going to be out on social media, you need to listen and respond. You certainly don't want your competitor responding before you. On the right, it's sort of a tongue-in-cheek. This gentleman was at the Lowe's home improvement store. I can only assume it must have been in the upper Midwest, maybe in Minnesota, because he was talking about an icy parking lot and wondering if there was a product that he could buy so that you don't slip in the parking lot. And he was wondering if Home Depot had that product. So kind of a poke fun at Lowe's home improvement store. But if you notice, one of the responses pretty quickly was home improvement because they're monitoring and they're listening. They're saying, hey, Matt, we hear ya. What store are you at? So clearly they are getting out there and trying to fix that. So listening to social media and responding and the different types of loops is really important for a brand to understand. But you can also get instant feedback. You can get instant feedback through Twitter. You can ask for thumbs up, thumbs down kind of situation for maybe photos that you post on Facebook or likes and comments. You can do some surveying. You can ask for specific feedback on features of a product. You could even do a focus group. With Facebook Live, many brands and organizations are doing focus groups right there using Facebook Live, asking questions. Now, your viewers can't exactly respond unless they give you hearts and likes and loves or comments, but it's still a way for you to get that instant feedback. So there's monitoring feedback and then there's instant feedback when it comes to social media. There's two brands that came up with even a different idea, and that's Dell and Starbucks. And I'm going to jump on out to these websites and give you just kind of a quick look at them, but they're really interesting. They kind of took it to a whole new level, and they created a website in which their customers can come and share ideas and give feedback. So let's jump out to those websites. So this is Dell's website that they call Idea Storm. You can sign up for an account, or you can do this anonymously. But it's a place where Dell customers can submit ideas. You can kind of see probably across the top here. I'll zoom in a teeny bit. How many ideas have been submitted? How many votes? And it looks like they've implemented about 450 or 100. 3, 2, 1. So here's a look at Dell's Idea Storm website. It allows their customers to come in and actually submit ideas for new products or new features. You can sort of see across the top how many ideas have been submitted and sort of how many they've implemented, about 550 ideas implemented. You can sign up for an account or you can just do this anonymously. So you can log in or just do it without a login. You can see recent ideas. You can see trending ideas kind of rolling down. You can vote on these. You can leave comments on these. So it really is a community that they're building with their customers for feedback. If I move kind of off to the left here, there are some like a leaderboard, and so people that have given feedback who have a lot of votes. So you can see this has almost a little over 12,000 votes and ideas. So again, this is a great forum that really brings that social media feedback to a new level. Starbucks is another one. And they actually recently changed the layout. And what I mean by recently is within the last 24 hours. And so it's called mystarbucksidea.com, where you can share, vote, and discuss and see what's going on. So again, similar to Dell, I can submit an idea. Here are some ideas that actually are in action. Here are some recent ideas that have been posted. And so it's another way for Starbucks to really generate social media feedback kind of at a different level and really harness the power of this website. So I'm going to head on back to the PowerPoint and kind of give you a little summary of today's lecture. So again, social media feedback cycle, it can be immediate or it could be long-term monitoring of what your customers are saying about the brand, the products, the services, the organizations that you all work for. And it's important to monitor that. It's important to monitor it and know what to do with it. And there's different types of social media feedback. And by categorizing these, sometimes you can get that feedback to the right people at your organization to make improvements and to take action. But social media feedback is something that all social media marketing managers should be looking at. So head on back into the class and see what to do next.